I mean, we keep talking about what not to do, but a solution to this would be to understand the concept of shape change with regards to exercise. So I was thinking about this, and I run it by you now. There's a shape to an exercise, and people are so locked into the shape that they're in when they're doing the exercise. Whereas if they were just taught to change the shape dynamically through a set, we call a continuous tension set, where the shape of the exercise changes as you,
Hmm.
that would ensure that you are actually um, causing adaptation in the entirety of what we consider the bicep muscle, right?
Yeah, it's like in martial arts, like like traditional like katas.
Mhm.
The variant of the kata, that's the shape,
Yeah.
right? Versus actually, real world things where there's no set shapes and you're shape shifting all
Yeah.
the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you can, if those are listening, if you're like, all right, well, how would I apply this? If basically you can make your sets more three-dimensional, like if you're
Yes.
doing push-ups, like leaning to the side, pausing, changing the angles in real time, and loading that, not just like, well, I'm going to turn my hands out the other way and I'll just kind of do a couple easy sets. Like, no, if you load differently while you change the shape of the exercise,
Mhm.
um, you can start to try to hit multiple cross sections of the tissue.
I had a buddy of mine, funny enough, he's another parent at wrestling when I bring my kids wrestling. So I was talking to him, and he was telling me how he started doing I forget how many push-ups every single day. Like he's like I just decided I'm going to do whatever 50 push-ups a day. So he'd been doing it for a month, and then he was telling me about this soreness in his shoulder that he started to develop like 2 weeks in, and then he goes 2 weeks further, and it's getting worse. And now all of a sudden, I'm going to continuously do push-ups for the rest of my life because I did it for 4 weeks and I had to stop because my shoulder's fucked up. And
Yeah.
I asked him, I go, well, show me what you're doing. So he gets into a push-up position. It's like, well, why are you doing it like that? Well, that's because online, that's how you do a push-up. You're literally told, this is how you do and then insert whatever mouth noise you want for an exercise. And people have this predetermined concept that there is a correct way to do it and an incorrect way to do it, and that you have to adhere to the correct way no matter what. And that's what he was doing.
Hmm.
And in the exact same position. So I was like, and when you break it down, even for a layperson, I was like, well, why don't you just change your hand position? Right? Why don't you just, instead of always doing the sets like that, why not, fatigue yourself here and then spread your arms out and see what you can find there. And then when you fatigue there, bring your arms in and see what you can do there. Oh, but that's a tricep push-up now. Who gives a shit what it is? A tricep push-up is also for if you're just training your chest, this is different than this, is different than this, is different than this. They're all going to train a different aspect of your chest. It's funny that I brought that up because it's the fact that the mouth noise always refers back to a muscle is another one of the problems, right?
Yeah.
Bicep curl. Instead of saying, let's train the tissue on the anterior aspect of my arm, we call it a bicep curl, which immediately brings us back to physiology first grade when you're like, well, the bicep does this. And we know
Yes.
not only the bicep does a lot of things. So it's almost like in the simplification of naming exercises, we're almost funneling people towards their doom.